Do you smell that? It smells like playoff football. The 2023 regular season is history, and the quest for the Lombardi Trophy begins in earnest this weekend with the wildcard round. Naturally, some fan bases are feeling more confident than others as we head into the postseason, but no matter who you are, whether you support the top-seeded Ravens or 49ers, if you cheer for a lowly number 7 seed, or if you live in Philadelphia, there are reasons for optimism. This is the playoffs. Anything can happen, and I'm here to explain why your team can win Super Bowl 58. Sit back, relax, and take this in. The best quarterback in the league right now? It might actually be Jordan Love. From week 11 onward, the first-year starter posted the highest QB rating in the NFL with a touchdown-to-interception ratio of 18-1. And he wasn't just beating up on bad teams either. Love torched the Lions and Kansas City throughout his remarkable second half. And all told, Love was one of just 4 QBs to finish the season with more than 4,000 passing yards and 30 passing touchdowns. His emergence ultimately salvaged what looked like a lost season for Green Bay. And if he can keep up his recent level of play, the Packers, who are 3-1 on the road I might add since week 11, can compete with anyone. Admittedly, it's hard to see a team that posted a negative point differential during the regular season winning the Super Bowl. But, well, they say defense wins championships, right? And the Steelers' defense is legit. They rank 6th in the NFL this season in points against, 7th in turnover percentage, and 5th in red zone touchdown percentage. In theory, a defense like that can keep any offense in the game, even one led by Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph. It was only 2 years ago that the Rams were Super Bowl champions, and this year's team checks a lot of the same boxes. Matt Stafford anchoring a top 10 passing offense? Check. An elite Pro Bowl bound wide receiver? Check. Aaron Donald keeping their defense respectable? Check. Plus, the 2023 Rams have a significantly better run game than that 2021 team thanks to a breakout from second-year stud Kyren Williams. They're balanced, extremely well coached, and they've been there before. That's a solid recipe for success. Even though the Dolphins struggled against elite competition this season, their electrifying offense makes them a terrifying matchup for anyone. Seemingly, every key weapon in this offense runs the 40 in less than 4.5 seconds. Tyreek Hill, Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane. And that speed and playmaking ability helped Miami finish second in the league in points and yards per play, while leading the NFL in both passing yards and yards per rushing attempt. This team flat out racks up the points, and while they are dealing with some key injuries on defense, no deficit is too great for Miami's offense to overcome. Okay, there's no sugarcoating it. Last year's NFC champs are in an absolute free fall right now. After starting out the season 10-1, the Eagles dropped 5 of their last 6 regular season games, costing themselves a chance at a first-round bye and then blowing their shot at a division title. Over the course of that skid, they got outscored by an average of almost 10 points per game. They have zero momentum heading into the playoffs, and their defense is flat out terrible. But their offense is still stupid good. Only 2 teams had more games with 31-plus points than the Eagles in 2023, and there's no reason the coalition of Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and DeAndre Swift can't lift the Eagles out of this swoon and into the promised land. There's nothing scarier than a team with nothing to lose, and that's the Browns to a T. Their season should have gone off the rails when Deshaun Watson went down in Week 10, but it didn't. Instead, Cleveland's defense and an epic resurgence from 38-year-old QB Joe Flacco propelled the Browns to just their second playoff berth in the last 2 decades. And no matter what you think about Flacco, that defense is formidable. Myles Garrett looks primed to take home his first Defensive Player of the Year award, and with him running the show, the Browns led the NFL in net yards allowed per drive and finished second in the league in points allowed per drive and expected points contributed. With a few notable exceptions, this Bucs team is still quite similar to the one that took home the Super Bowl in 2020. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antoine Winfield, Levante David, Devin White, all those champions and former Pro Bowlers are still around. And okay, no, Baker Mayfield isn't Tom Brady, but Mayfield was low-key one of the NFL's better game managers this season. He actually posted a higher QB rating than Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. Look, these Bucs are far from spectacular, and they didn't face much top-end competition this season, but they're an experienced team with more talent than people give them credit for. And with 5 wins in their final 6 regular season games, they're peaking at the right time. CJ Stroud is him. It's as simple as that. The first-year QB just put up one of the most impressive rookie seasons ever, leading the NFL in yards per game and interception rate while propelling the Texans to a division title 1 year after they finished 3-13-1. You simply don't see rookie QBs with this level of poise and decision-making, to say nothing of his incredible physical abilities. He's special, and he single-handedly makes the Texans extremely difficult to write off. Look, losing rookie tight end Sam Laporta to a knee injury in a meaningless Week 18 game is a big blow. I'm not gonna lie. But Laporta wasn't the only reason the Lions finished 5th in the NFL in points per game, tied for 3rd in yards per play, and 3rd in red zone touchdown rate. In fact, thanks to their enviable complement of skill players, the Lions were one of just 2 teams to finish top 5 in the league in both passing yards and rushing yards. The other team? The 49ers. And Laporta's injury notwithstanding, if ever there was a Lions team capable of ending the curse of Bobby Lane, it's this one. It says a lot about the Patrick Mahomes-led Chiefs that an 11-6 season that ended with an easy division title feels like a major disappointment. That's how high the reigning champs have set the bar. But just because they're not as dominant as they were last year doesn't mean they're not still really, really good. Even with a dismal receiving core outside of Travis Kelce, Mahomes was still a top 10 QB this season, according to Pro Football Focus. And Kansas City's defense was better than ever, finishing 2nd in the NFL in points allowed and sacks with a league-best QB pressure rate. Straight up, this is the best Cowboys team since they were last Super Bowl champions in 1995. They have the best offense in the NFL, led by the best version of Dak Prescott we've ever seen, and an unstoppable CeeDee Lamb. In fact, the Cowboys scored on more than 50% of their drives this season, making them the first team since 2019 to put up points on more than half their drives. Meanwhile, they've also got a top 5 defense featuring Defensive Player of the Year candidate Micah Parsons and a historically prolific Deron Bland, who set a new NFL single-season record with 5 pick sixes. And while they struggled on the road this year, their seeding ensures that they'll have home field advantage for at least the first 2 rounds. In other words, if they come up short, they're going to be hard-pressed for excuses. And speaking of teams who have run out of excuses, the Bills, for a 4th year in a row now, are division champs with a top 5 point differential. Yes, they got off to a rocky start, but they've been downright flawless since their bye week, winning each of their last 5 regular season games and beating the Chiefs, Cowboys, and Dolphins in the process. They're great. And additionally, their path to an AFC championship is arguably less fraught than it was in each of the last 3 years. Regardless though, much like the Cowboys, there are no moral victories to be gained here, and anything short of their first ever Super Bowl title is a failure. Remember this past offseason when some people were clamoring for Trey Lance to be the 49ers starting quarterback in 2023? Oh, that was funny. Brock Purdy, in his first full season as the 49ers starter, was an MVP candidate, throwing for more than 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns while leading the league in touchdown rate, yards gained per pass attempt, and QB rating. His evolution from great story into franchise QB, combined with the continuing brilliance of Christian McCaffrey, helped the 49ers field the 3rd best offense in the NFL. And surprise, surprise, their defense was elite once again too. With an average margin of victory of more than 11 points, this is the most dominant 49ers team since the halcyon Steve Young, Jerry Rice days of the mid-90s, and there's no reason the 2023 club can't become champions too. I think it's safe to say the Ravens are feeling pretty good about extending Lamar Jackson this past offseason. The dual-threat QB went full MVP mode in 2023, setting a career high in passing yards, posting a triple-digit QB rating, while also leading his team in rushing yards. Jackson's performance gave the Ravens a top 5 offense for the first time since his first MVP season, and amazingly, Baltimore's defense was even better. They led the league in points allowed, takeaways, and sacks, and allowed only 6 rushing touchdowns all season. 6! It's no fluke that this team finished with the best record in the NFL, and these Ravens are arguably better than each of the 2 previous Baltimore teams to win the Super Bowl. But what say you folks? Who do you think is winning Super Bowl 58? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button. As always, we appreciate you. We'll see you next time.